Hello, Professor Cadney's here, and I just wanted to record a video this week. Instead of the normal shout outs, I wanted to record a video that would help you guys a little bit with the grammar struggles that some of you have been having. So next week, look for shout outs again. I'm really excited to read your poems. I'm recording this video when I have not yet seen a lot of the poems, so I'm looking forward to those coming in and looking forward to you beginning to use some really good strategies for incorporating specific details, like the strategies that Natalie Goldberg talked about in her essay, Be Specific. But for now, for this week, for week 5, we're going to do a little bit of a review. So what you need to be able to complete the review assignment that you see on the screen here, I'm going to help you with. So we were talking about how to identify subjects and verbs. Before we move on to subject-verb agreement, it's good to make sure that we understand what a subject and a verb is and how to identify them. So by way of review, if you look at what a verb is a state of being or an action. And then the subject is whoever is doing that action or being that state of being. So here's the sheet that I'm going to ask you to do next, and I want to do some of it together so that you can know how to fill it out and get practice with how to best do this. So the first question says, you were happy. So we have a state of being verb here, were. So were is our verb. And then who experienced the state of being? Were. Did happy experience it? No, you experienced it. So the subject in this sentence is going to be you. Okay. In the next one, we have her coffee pot was still on. So again, we have a state of being verb, was. Whenever you see is or was, look out for that. That is often going to be your verb. And what was still on? The coffee pot. Now, still isn't doing anything. The coffee pot is what was on. So the subject is going to be coffee pot. And if you want to simplify it, you can just say pot. And then the verb is was. Okay? The students perform in my city. So the verb, what's the action here, is perform. And who's doing the performing? Is the city performing? No. The students are performing, so we're going to say students. Again, city's not performing, the students are performing. Perform is an easier verb to identify because it is an action. Okay, the next question that we have has what's called a prepositional phrase. That's this part right here. When you're describing where something is happening, like using a word like in or on top of, then that's going to be a prepositional phrase. You can see it set off with a comma there. So your verb isn't going to be in there. And if you recall from my last video, in is never going to be a verb to begin with, okay? You can't have in, you can't be inning something. In is never a verb. So we have in my life, it says when something is happening, and it says many interesting moments happen. So what would be the subject there? Well, it's going to be moments because the moments are doing what? They're happening. The verb is happen, and what's happening? The moments. Okay, life isn't happening. It's the moments that are happening. So the subject is moments, and the verb is happen. Okay, and once again, we have a prepositional phrase starting the sentence. In general, cats enjoy chasing mice. Again, we have a sort of an easy verb to identify, enjoy. Who is it? Who or what is it that's enjoying? Well, it's the cats. So we have for the subject, cats, and then the verb is enjoy. Okay, and we're going to do one more together, and then the rest of it you can do on your own. I would like you to answer all of them, even the ones that we've gone over in this video, just for extra practice. And I would like to, just as a means of encouragement here, this is a little bit tedious. I know that doing practice in isolation from your essays, meaning doing separate practice on this, can be a little bit tedious, a little bit boring, but I promise you that the payoff is really, really big for understanding how to do this, because in the end, You're going to not have run-ons and fragments, and you're not going to have subject-verb errors, and that will make your essay so much stronger and more powerful. So hang in there with this and email me if you have any questions. So the last one, the theater schedules many events in October. Okay, so in this one, the verb is going to be schedules. That's the action. And the subject is going to be theater. In the last example, we had, instead of the theater schedule many events in October, it said the theater posts schedules. So the action there was posts, because the schedules is what they were posting. But here I made the verb schedules to show you how schedules works in a sentence as a verb. Okay, so that's the example of the sheet that you're going to fill out next. So I'm going to save that, and then also now I'm going to show you how to do your subject-verb practice, and you're going to get some more information about this through videos throughout the lesson, but just sort of table this, come back to it if you need to for subject-verb agreement later on this week. So your subjects and your verbs have to agree in number, and you're going to see a couple videos that are about that. And that just means that if you have a singular verb, one thing or one person, you need to use the form of the verb that relates to that one thing or one person. So let's go to one that's a little bit easier here. So question number 5 here says, she know or knows the answer. Okay, so you have she, and she is singular because there's only one of her. If you have they, that's plural because there's a lot of people. She just has one. So you need to use the verb form that relates to that one person. So it's going to be she knows the answer, because the third person singular for she is always going to be knows. So if you are, you're going to hear more about this, but if you are confused about how to find out what a verb is, you're going to type this into Google. Conjugation of to know in the present tense, and then you can write, in parentheses, English. Okay? And to know is the infinitive, or the overall form of the verb. So you're going to type in conjugation of, and then whatever the verb is, and then what you'll get is a list of how to do that verb in its various forms. So let me just go online here and show you how to do that. So we're going to make a new window, and then we're going to go to Google. Okay, let me pull this up. Okay, so we're going to type in conjugation of to know English present tense. That's so funny. It's giving it to us in Spanish. Here it is. Okay, so you want to scroll down until you get one that's actually in English and not in a different language. Here's one right here, simple present tense in English. Okay, so a site that's good for this, and as you can see, I needed to do a little bit of scrolling to find it because it didn't immediately pop up. Oftentimes you'll just get Google, which will give it to you right away, but for some reason, to know is a verb that it doesn't want us to get at easily. So what you can do is always go to this thing called Spanish Dict. This is a good one. I've seen it before, and it is a site that's helping Spanish language learners. However, it is useful because it gives us the English verbs. So you don't want to see the words in Spanish, but you can see them in English on this site. So what you can look at here is you see that the present tense is I know, you know, he, she knows, we know, you know, and they know. And in the sample, what you needed to do was she knows. And you can see that here. It gives it to you. And what would it be if she did it, if she needed it to know it in the past? She knew. The future will know. So basically, if you don't know the answer to any of the questions, you can always look it up. And that's always a good strategy. It's not cheating. If I mark on your paper that you have a subject-verb error, look it up. Look up the conjugation of and then the word, and you can see what that agreement is. Now, if you have something like Mary, you have to know that that's a she. If you have Mary, Joe, and Sue, that's a they. Okay? And as you're doing this, you also keep in mind that there are certain verbs that you are going to have trouble with, that you're going to struggle with, and others that you are not going to struggle with. So after we get through this basic practice, you're going to apply it to the words where you are having the struggles and nothing, beyond that. Okay, so we're just getting started with this. And again, if you have any confusion at all, send me an email. And you can say something like, I'm trying to find the verb conjugations and I can't find them online. Can you help me with that again? Or I'm confused about question number 4 on this worksheet and I want to get your feedback on it before I submit it. Please, ask me. I'm here. I know that it's sometimes hard because it's an online class, but I am, as hopefully you've seen, that I'm pretty available pretty constantly for emails and for Canvas messages and other forms of communication. Okay, so good luck with this week, and I look forward to talking with you more.